Can I trust what's in my heart? Did I know from the very start? My name is Michael Eck. I'm very glad to be here tonight. I'm really incredibly lucky to have had so many different lives, ways of working in music. I think the focus has been as a singer-songwriter and a multi-instrumentalist, playing in lots and lots of different bands. Oh my God, lots of different bands. But I've produced concerts, I've produced radio shows, I've produced records, all kinds of things. A friend of mine will get amusement out of this. When I was like 15 years old, I did Spotlight for the Go-Go's, and he knows I like to say that. So lucky to do all kinds of things in music. My hand in your hand, will you make me rich? Will you wear my band? First gig I played was 40 years ago this October. I'd been in some bands before that, but I was in a band called Death Zone that became The Plague, hardcore punk rock band. So it was a battle of the bands. It was a really cool gig. I still remember it like it was yesterday, and I haven't stopped since. I think I knew at that gig, this is the start and you're not gonna stop. It is my love, and it's all for you. I'd written songs as early as The Plague and those other bands. We did those songs. So I was always writing songs. But a gentleman named Dan Griffin, who used to be in the area, he's since passed, he said, hey, I want you to open for this woman, Wendy Wall, who was managed by the same woman who managed Patti Smith at the time. So that was enough for me. I said, oh, let me see if I can get the band together for it. He goes, I don't want the band. I just want you. That was scary stuff. It was my first solo gig. I don't even know if I'd done an open mic at that point. Then, from about then till probably 2000, that was all I did was play solo. Then I dabbled in some bands. I was in a group called Coal Palace Kings. I was in a group called Glaze, playing bass, slide guitar, all different kinds of things. But I really focused on the solo thing for probably about 20 years. I was going to New York every 5 weeks and playing different places in New York. I ended up moving to Austin, Texas. I moved to New Orleans, Louisiana, all just with one acoustic guitar. And that was really what I was about. I put out 4 albums. For the past, let's say, 15 years or more, I've been back playing in bands again as the main thing, and solo has become sort of the second thing. A tiny flag of surrender, giving up if you must know. I didn't wrestle with my opinion when I wrote about music. I think one of the things that defines a critic, music, theater, what have you, I've done various things, you have to have an opinion. A lot of people think they have an opinion, especially now with social media, but maybe they don't. You also have to be able to back up that opinion. I just saw the band Delamitri at the Egg. They were pretty good. They weren't great. I love that band. On record, they're so great. Many years ago, 25 years ago, somebody said to me, what do you do if you see a band you love and they're not great? I said, you're right that I love this band and they weren't great. I saw Delamitri in the Berkshires at that time, and they were terrible. That's what I wrote. What are you gonna do? You know? I have this theory that I developed when I was very young, that music is my horse. So I wrote about music for a living for many years. That was a cart I put behind the horse of music. I played music, I still play music. That was a cart I put behind the horse. I paint these pictures that are in these rooms. I haven't been lately because of all different stuff that's been going on, but they're all pictures of American folk and blues musicians. That's a cart that I put behind the horse of music, so.